I was supposed to be at a client dinner that evening. Downtown, wine glasses clinking, half laughs over overpriced appetizers. The kind of night where your face smiles but your soul checks out early. But the meeting got canceled last minute. I didn't text Brittany. I figured I'd surprise her. Maybe we'd order Thai food, catch up, actually talk like we used to. I parked in the driveway, saw her car already there, and my stomach flipped for no reason I could name. The porch light was off. That was the first off note. She always left it on when she was home. Always. When I walked in, the house was too quiet. No TV hum, no music. Just the kind of silence that feels intentional. Like it's hiding something. My shoes made no sound on the carpeted hallway, but my heartbeat made enough noise for both of us. Our bedroom door wasn't locked. It was just shut. That's all. But something about it felt final. Like behind it, reality was splitting open. I didn't knock. I didn't pause. I turned the knob and stepped inside. Empty. The bed was made. Lights off. Curtains drawn. But then I saw it, the faintest flicker from her vanity. The mirror still on, the screen showing her phone screen open to the camera app. Not a photo, but a paused video. I touched the screen. There she was. Smirking. In our room. Sitting exactly where I stood now, speaking to the camera like it was her friend or maybe her diary. Honestly, he's such a loser, she said, her voice casual, like she was talking about the weather. I don't even know why I married him. It was probably the money. Or maybe I just liked having someone who worshipped me. I stared at the screen. She laughed. Anyway, Tyler's coming over. I told him he has to sneak out by 10 because Ryan might come home early. Not that he ever does, too busy playing hero at work, like that makes up for being completely useless in bed. She ended the recording with a wink. I don't remember sitting down, but I found myself on the edge of the bed, phone still in hand. I watched the video again as if it would change the second time. It didn't. She was cruel. She was comfortable being cruel. I stood up, went to the window. Outside, headlights turned into our street. His car. I knew that car. Knew it like I knew my own name. Tyler. We hadn't spoken in almost a year, not after the fight we had over a woman he'd dated briefly who told me he was emotionally manipulative. I believed her. He didn't like that. So of course it was him. Of course it was someone I once called brother. I moved fast. I didn't scream. I didn't rage. I packed a bag with the calm precision of someone in shock. I took my passport, cash, the few things that mattered. I left the house by the side door just as I saw her silhouette open the front one, fake smile already plastered on. I didn't look back. Didn't wait to hear their voices. I vanished from my cheating wife's life the moment I heard she mocked me as a loser and slept with someone I once called a friend. And she doesn't even know I know. Not yet. But she will. The hotel I checked into that night wasn't glamorous. Off the interstate, second floor, carpet that had seen too many shoes and secrets. I didn't care. I needed a place where I could breathe without tasting betrayal in the air. The receptionist didn't ask questions. I liked her for that. I didn't sleep. I didn't cry either. There's something worse than tears. That bone-deep hollowness when your world shatters so suddenly that even your emotions are delayed, like a body going into shock after the crash. I stared at the ceiling, her voice looping in my head, he's such a loser. Over and over like a sick lullaby. The next morning I turned off my phone. Not silent. Not do not disturb. Off. I needed time. Space. A plan. See, I knew I had leverage. I'd seen enough to destroy her reputation, her job. She worked PR for a nonprofit, ironically, her picture-perfect social media life. But I wasn't interested in revenge, not yet. I wanted understanding. I wanted to see her lies unfold in real time, to know just how deep the betrayal ran. So I went home 2 days later like nothing had happened. She was in the kitchen, hair wet from the shower, humming. No guilt. No tension. No trace of the venom she'd spewed in that video. She kissed my cheek when she saw me and said, "You're back early, babe. Everything okay?" I smiled. "Yeah. Meeting got canceled." "Oh. You should have told me. Didn't want to wake you." She nodded, grabbed a mug, poured herself coffee. "I missed you." I watched her stir in sugar like she hadn't invited another man into our bed just 2 nights ago. "Me too," I said, and meant none of it. The next 2 weeks were theater. Every kiss, every laugh, every chore we did side by side, it was all pretend. I studied her like a scientist, cataloging behavior. Every time she smiled too wide at her phone. Every time she turned it face down when she left the room. Every new lingerie piece she suddenly owned but never wore for me. She wasn't careful. She thought I was still asleep in the dream she built around my devotion. One night I followed her. She said she was going to dinner with her old college roommate. I waited 30 minutes, then took my car and trailed hers at a distance. She didn't go downtown. She drove to the edge of the city to a gated townhouse complex. Unit 308. She parked. Walked up. No hesitation. The door opened before she even knocked. "Tyler." Shirtless. She kissed him. Not a peck. Not a hesitant, guilty kiss. The kind that spoke fluently in betrayal. I didn't confront them. Not yet. I drove away, parked at a gas station, and sat in the lot for an hour staring at my reflection in the rearview mirror. I wasn't angry. Not the way you'd think. I felt something more dangerous than anger. Clarity. The next move wouldn't be loud. Wouldn't be violent. Wouldn't be obvious. But it would change everything. I started by gathering everything. Not clothes. Not sentimental crap. Information. Every lie she told me became a breadcrumb, and I followed them all. I backed up the video from her vanity camera and saved it to multiple encrypted drives. I logged into our shared cloud account. She never changed the password, too cocky for her own good, and I found dozens of deleted messages, calls, pictures. Screenshots of her texting Tyler from her bed. Voice notes where she gushed about how boring I was, how she couldn't wait to be free of the tech robot she married. One message even said, "He has no idea I'm draining the account bit by bit. Idiot thinks I'm paying off student loans." So this wasn't just cheating. This was a long con. And I had proof. I moved in the shadows of our life. Played the husband. Mowed the lawn. Paid the bills. Cooked for her, even smiled. All the while, I set my own plan in motion. Quietly transferred money into a new account in my name only. Found a lawyer, a discreet, ruthless one who specialized in surgical exits, the kind that leave no loose ends. I didn't tell anyone yet. Not my family, not my friends. I needed to make sure when the curtain dropped it stayed down. Then came the night of the dinner party. Her idea. A just us and a few close friends kind of night. She made her specialty pasta, bought expensive wine. Said she wanted to reconnect. Translation, she wanted to parade her false happiness while laughing behind my back. Tyler was there. Of course he was. Wearing the watch I bought him 5 years ago. A birthday gift. A friendship relic. He toasted me that night. Said to Ryan, the most generous guy I know. Brittany laughed so hard she nearly choked on her wine. They were that bold. That stupid. After everyone left, she leaned in, all soft-eyed and snake-tongued. "You were amazing tonight," she whispered, curling against me on the couch. "Like old times?" I looked her dead in the eye. "Yeah. Almost like nothing's changed." She smiled, clueless. The next morning, I scheduled a meeting at work but instead drove back to Unit 308. I knocked. Tyler answered in sweatpants and a smug grin. It vanished the second he saw me. "Ryan? Got a minute?" He hesitated. "Look, man, if this is... I'm not here to fight." He stepped aside, guarded. I walked in, hands in my pockets. "Relax," I said. "I just wanted to see the place. Brittany talks about it all the time." His jaw twitched. "She told you?" I smiled. "Not with words." He paled. "You should probably start looking for a new place," I added, turning toward the door. "What the hell are you talking about?" "Let's just say things are about to get complicated for both of you." And I left. Just like that. No screaming. No threats. Just a calm warning before the storm. Because tomorrow my lawyer was filing the papers. With attachments. And neither of them knew just how loud the silence I'd left behind was going to get. I didn't go home that night. Instead, I booked a suite at a business-class hotel uptown. Not a hideout, not an escape headquarters. A place where I could finalize everything without her perfume seeping into my thoughts, without the ghost of our couch whispering false memories into my ear. That apartment had become a museum of deception. I was done living in it. The divorce papers were submitted that morning. Not simple ones. Not the cheap kind people fill out online and cry over in court. These were loaded, evidence-heavy, cold, deliberate. My lawyer had drawn them up like a precision weapon, financial records showing her siphoning our savings, messages proving the affair, videos, voice recordings. All of it. A silent arsenal she'd never see coming until it tore her life in half. She still had no idea. That evening, she texted me. "You okay? Haven't heard from you all day." I didn't reply. 10 minutes later, she tried calling. Declined. Then again. Declined. I left the phone on the nightstand and stared at the ceiling, not with rage. Rage had come and gone. What replaced it was purpose. Cold, unshakable purpose. She was about to learn what it felt like when the world you thought you controlled suddenly spins off its axis. The next day, she came to my office. I was warned by the front desk. She never visited me at work. Never once in all 6 years. She walked in like she owned the place, tight black blazer, red lipstick, performance smile. "Hey, stranger," she said lightly, trying to play it cool. "Are you ghosting your own wife now?" I motioned for the door to close. We were alone. She sat across from me, legs crossed, head tilted. "I've been trying to reach you since yesterday," she said. "Is something going on?" "Yes," I said, sliding a white envelope across the table. She frowned, picked it up, opened it. The change in her face was beautiful. The first page of the divorce filing hit her like a slap. "What the hell is this?" she said, voice already climbing. You know exactly what it is. She blinked, processing. Are you serious? This is insane, Ryan. Why would you even, I leaned forward. Calm. Precise. I know about Tyler. I know about the money. I know about everything. The silence cracked open between us. She looked away, blinked hard. Look. I can explain. Don't, I said sharply. Don't insult us both. She stood up. So that's it? You think you can just ambush me like this and I'll just roll over? I'm not signing anything. I stood too, matching her energy without raising my voice. You will sign. Or your board at the nonprofit is going to see a very detailed portfolio about their star PR specialist's extracurriculars. The board director's wife? She's in my lawyer's address book. They play tennis. Her face fell. I walked around the desk slowly. I want nothing from you. No alimony. No house. I don't even want your apologies. All I want is for you to be gone. I deserve that much. You're bluffing, she said, but her voice had lost its power. I stared her down. Do you really want to find out? She didn't answer. She left. And for the first time in months, the air in that office felt breathable. She thought she was the storm. She had no idea what I'd become in her silence. 3 days passed before I heard from her again. 3 whole days of silence from the woman who once couldn't go an hour without texting me a meme or a grocery list or some shallow thought just to fill the space between us. Yeah? Radio silence. No calls, no visits. Only the soft thud of the papers being couriered back to my lawyer, untouched and signed. It wasn't resistance. It was strategy. She was regrouping. And I knew Brittany well enough to know she wasn't going to fold without trying to win at least something on her way down. So when she finally texted me, it wasn't an apology. It wasn't a denial. It wasn't even an attempt to lie her way out. It was a single line. Can we talk? One last time. No period. Just a question hanging in digital air. I agreed. But not at the house. I chose a coffee shop halfway between her gym and Tyler's townhouse. Neutral ground. Public enough that she couldn't explode, quiet enough that I could look her in the eye while watching her empire tremble. She walked in late. Dressed down. No makeup. No jewelry. None of the armor she usually wore. Just jeans, a hoodie, and a nervous twitch in her jaw that wouldn't quit. She sat without speaking. I let the silence settle until it felt heavy. I'm not signing, she said eventually, eyes locked on her coffee like it might offer answers. I didn't flinch. Then you're going to watch your life burn in slow motion. Why are you doing this to me? She said, her voice rising, not loud but sharp enough to cut. To you? I laughed, one short, stunned breath. I gave you everything. I trusted you. I believed in you. And you mocked me. You robbed me. You turned our home into a stage for your personal soap opera. You don't understand, she snapped. You were always working. Always somewhere else. I felt invisible. I needed Tyler? I interrupted. You needed Tyler? The man who slept on our couch after his divorce? The one who borrowed money from me to fix his dam brakes? That's who you threw our life away for. She finally looked at me. And for the first time I saw it, not guilt. Not shame. Fear. You don't get it, she whispered. He's not who you think he is. This isn't what you think it is. What I think it is, I said slowly, is you feeding him pieces of our life while draining our accounts and telling the world I'm the fool who doesn't satisfy you. Am I missing something? She swallowed hard. He said he was going to leave if I didn't prove I was done with you. That's why I made the video. That wasn't for me, it was for him. That shook me for half a second. Not because I pitied her, but because it confirmed something deeper. She wasn't just cheating. She was being played too. You let him pull your strings, I said coldly. And you used me as leverage. She didn't respond. You've got one chance, I continued. Sign the papers. Quietly. Cleanly. No drama. Or the full story gets out. She looked away. I could ruin you, I said, and meant every syllable. But I'm offering mercy. Take it. She sat there, breathing through clenched teeth, trapped between pride and panic. Then she stood. And she said something I'll never forget. You think you're winning. But you'll never be free of me. I live in your story now. Forever. Then she left. And I didn't follow. I didn't need to. Because I wasn't the man she married anymore. I had burned that version of me down to the bones, and what was left wasn't looking back. After she walked out of that coffee shop, something shifted. Not just in the air around me, but inside. For the first time in what felt like years, I wasn't reacting to her chaos. I was ahead of it. Moving deliberately. Not trying to fix her, explain myself, or make sense of the wreckage. Just watching her drown in the consequences of a storm she built wave by wave. My lawyer called the next morning. She had signed. No note, no apology, no dramatic plea. Just ink on paper. I didn't feel relief. I didn't even feel victory. Just a strange, hollow certainty that I'd pulled a splinter out of my soul that had been there for years, one I'd learned to live with until I forgot how much it bled. And then, like a twisted encore, Tyler called me. I didn't even know he still had my number. It was like a ghost tapping your shoulder in a crowd. At first, I didn't answer, but something in me wanted to hear it. Not because I needed closure, but because I wanted to look him in the face with my silence and let it break him. Ryan, he started when I picked up. His voice was low, uneasy. Look, man. I don't expect you to forgive me, all right? I know I messed up. I didn't respond. I didn't plan it, okay? It just happened. One night she called me, we talked, and I don't know. One thing led to another. I let the silence stretch. I wanted him to feel the weight of it. She said you were distant. Like, gone? Emotionally. I figured it was over between you two. Is that what you told yourself? I said finally. My voice was calm, almost bored. He paused. She made it sound like it wasn't really a marriage anymore. Interesting, I said. Because I remember helping you through your divorce. I remember you crying on my porch when your ex blindsided you. He was quiet. I made space for you when no one else would. I trusted you. And you crawled into my house like a dog, then turned around and pissed on the floor. Ryan, please? Don't speak, I cut in. Just listen. I'm not coming after you, Tyler. I'm not throwing fists or slashing tires or calling your job. That would mean I still thought you mattered. But let me be very clear, whatever version of you existed in my world. He's dead. You're not a threat. You're not even a regret. You're just noise I turned off. He breathed into the receiver like he wanted to say something but didn't know how. And if you think she's yours now, I added, congrats. You won the prize. But don't come crying to me when she does to you what she did to me. Because she will. I hung up before he could speak again. I blocked his number. Blocked hers. Deleted the threads, the photos, the little digital remnants that used to mean something. But I didn't delete the video. I kept that. Not as a weapon. Not anymore. As a reminder. That sometimes the most dangerous kind of betrayal doesn't come from enemies. It comes from people who called you family. And surviving it? That's not weakness. It's evolution. There's a strange peace that comes after destruction when the fire's out, the walls are blackened, but you're still standing. Not untouched, not whole, but awake in a way you hadn't been in years. That's what those weeks felt like. The noise was gone. The games, the guessing, the constant emotional white noise of being lied to by someone sleeping beside you. I went back to the house one last time. Not to mourn. Not to relive. To erase. I walked room to room like a stranger touring a crime scene. Our bedroom, once hers and mine, was still neat, unnaturally neat, like she'd staged it before leaving. Closet half empty. Makeup gone. Her presence scrubbed from the surfaces but not from the air. I stood in front of the vanity where she'd recorded that video. I stared at my own reflection, remembering the first time I saw her smug, casual betrayal on that screen. Then I opened a box and packed the mirror away. I didn't want to see what I looked like in that light anymore. The next room was the office. I'd always let her use the second desk. She said it made her feel like we were building something together. Funny. The only thing she built in there was an alternate reality where I was her fool and Tyler was her secret. Her laptop was still on the desk. Locked. I booted it anyway and ran the backup software I'd installed years ago when she started having issues with lost files. She never knew it mirrored everything to a shared folder I controlled. Took 2 minutes to pull what I needed. Emails to Tyler. Drafts she never sent, ones that told a different story than the confident, cruel version she gave me to my face. She'd written things like, "He's not stupid, you know? I think he suspects. Sometimes I wonder if I pushed too far. If this all started because I was scared he'd leave me first. Tyler, I need this to work. If we screw this up, I lose everything." I didn't feel sympathy. I felt confirmation. She'd been lying to him too. Whatever twisted victory she thought she had, it was built on the same foundation she stood on with me, sand and ego. I copied the folder, encrypted it, and sent it to a private drive. Not for revenge. For insurance. Let them both remember that I wasn't the one sleeping. And just before I left, I did something she would never understand. I walked into the guest room, where she never went, where nothing was touched, and pulled out a framed photo. One of us from 5 years ago. Some vacation. Sunlight. Laughter. Her arms around me, her smile wide and convincing. I looked at it for a long time. Not because I missed her, but because I needed to see how well she could lie with her face. Then I dropped it in the trash. Not shattered. Not burned. Just discarded. That's what she became to me. Not a monster. Not even a villain. Just waste. The kind you take out and never think of again. After I left the house for good, it took time to adjust to the silence. Real silence. Not the kind soaked with tension, with unsaid questions and forced smiles. I was alone, but it wasn't loneliness. It was solitude. And that's different. That's freedom. I moved into a loft downtown. High ceilings, exposed brick, big windows with no curtains. No shadows. I wanted light everywhere. Nothing hidden. I furnished it with care, minimal, clean, intentional. Nothing came with me from the old house. No couch she picked. No kitchenware we shared. Not even the bed. I wasn't building a recovery room. I was building a restart. But life doesn't let go without one last twist. She showed up at my building. I recognized the knock before I opened the door, aggressive, impatient, the same rhythm she used when she wanted something. I didn't open it right away. I looked through the peephole and just watched her. She was different. Not worse, not better, just smaller. She looked tired. Angry, yes, but also like someone who had spent the last few weeks trying to hold on to a version of herself that was slipping through her own fingers. When I finally opened the door, I didn't say anything. She stepped inside like she had a right to. I didn't stop her. She looked around the place, scanning it like it was a challenge. "This is where you've been hiding?" "I haven't been hiding," I said. "I've been living." "Must be nice," she muttered. "It is." She turned to face me. "You humiliated me." I laughed, one short, honest laugh. "You humiliated yourself. You told people." "I told the truth. If you can't handle that, you were never built for real life." She crossed her arms. "Tyler left." I said nothing. "He said it got too messy. Said I was too much." Still, I said nothing. "You don't care, do you?" Her voice cracked just slightly. I tilted my head. "You're asking the wrong question." She stared at me. "It's not whether I care," I said, stepping closer. "It's whether I ever will again." And the answer was no. Not because I was bitter. Not because I wanted her to hurt. But because the man she betrayed, the one who would have cried at this scene, begged for answers, tried to fix her, that man was gone. She walked slowly around the apartment again. Touched the edge of the counter. Ran her hand along the bookshelf. Like she was searching for some trace of herself in the space. There was nothing there. "I made a mistake," she said finally, softly. "I lost everything." "No," I corrected. "You gave it away." She looked up at me. Her eyes were glassy. "I still don't know why I did it." I nodded. "That's because you never took the time to ask the right questions. You didn't want reasons. You wanted escape." She looked like she wanted to argue. But there was nothing left to say. She left without asking if she could stay. And I didn't watch her go. Because when a lie walks out the door, you don't chase it. You let it find its own exit. The weeks that followed her last visit passed quietly, but not without echoes. She didn't try to come back. Not physically. But I could feel the digital weight of her everywhere. Anonymous burner accounts checking my stories. Mutual friends dropping awkward messages. A former coworker of hers accidentally texting me late at night with a simple, "Hey, didn't know if this was still your number." I didn't reply to any of it. I wasn't playing the game anymore. But I did get a call one afternoon. Not from her. From her mother. We'd always been polite to each other. Cordial. But she'd never called me directly. Until that day. Her voice was steady but laced with something colder than concern. "She told me everything," she said. Or at least, her version. I'm sure it was creative. "She left out a lot," the mother added. "Which told me more than what she included." I didn't say anything. "I just wanted to tell you." "I'm sorry," she continued. "She wasn't raised like this. I don't know who she's become." And for the first time, I felt something close to sadness. Not for Brittany, but for the trail of people who had loved her before she turned into someone who needed to dominate every room, every story, every man. "She's not asking me to talk to you," her mother clarified. "She doesn't even know I'm calling." But I saw the video. The one from the vanity. She sent it to someone. It made the rounds. That stopped me. She tried to lie about it, but once it was out, well, there's no walking it back. Her job gave her a choice: resign quietly or get exposed publicly. She resigned. I asked. "She did," her mother said. "But she blames you." "Not Tyler. Not herself." "Of course she did." "Thank you for calling," I said after a long pause. "I just thought you deserved to know," she said. "Some of us still believe in accountability." She hung up. And for a moment I sat there, stunned, not because Brittany had lost her job. That was inevitable. But because even now, when everything had fallen apart, she still couldn't look in the mirror and see herself clearly. I opened my laptop. Typed a message I'd never send. "You could have had a quiet, loyal life. But you wanted drama, danger, fireworks. Now you're standing in the ashes of your own show and the audience is gone." I deleted it. Because I wasn't speaking to her anymore. I was just making peace with the ghost she left behind. It's been nearly a year since I vanished from her world. Not with noise. Not with vengeance. Just a quiet, clean erasure. The kind that leaves a scar she can't find until she runs her hand over it months later and realizes something's missing, and it's not me. It's the power she once held over someone who used to be blind. I rebuilt everything from the ground up. My circle? Smaller now. Tighter. Sharper. I cut away the leeches, the lukewarm acquaintances who smiled when she smiled and turned their heads when things got weird. You learn who's really in your corner when your life caves in. A few people showed up for me. Fewer than I expected. But those who did, I'll never forget. My work? Better than ever. I used to carry guilt with me into every meeting, every call, every late-night spreadsheet like a backpack full of cement. Not anymore. Now I walk in light. Focused. Sharpened by betrayal but not bent by it. And love? No, I'm not rushing back into that arena. I'm not hunting for some Hollywood redemption arc where the broken man meets the girl with the magic glue. That's not how healing works. I'm not looking for anyone to fix me. I'm busy fixing me. But I'm not closed off either. I had a conversation the other night with someone new. Simple, unforced. We talked about books, then bad movies, then childhood memories we couldn't stop laughing about. It wasn't deep. It wasn't serious. But it was honest. And that's a start. Sometimes late at night I remember moments, not the betrayal, but the before. The innocent parts. Her laugh when it was real. The way she used to grab my hand in a crowd without thinking. And I let myself feel it. Not to mourn it. To remind myself that I was real. I loved fully. I gave honestly. I lived without disguise. She didn't break me. She revealed me. And the man I am now? He's stronger. Colder in the right ways. Warmer in others. Wiser. Dangerous, yes, but only to those who mistake kindness for weakness. If you're reading this and you've gone through it too, if you've been lied to, manipulated, betrayed by someone you handed your life to, know this. You don't come out the same. You come out better. Not because they destroyed you, but because they taught you to never let anyone write your story in invisible ink again. Yeah? I write in bold. In full color. And this chapter? This one's mine.